What's up, guys? It's Gage from Energy. We're going to be talking about the brand new Burning Abyss support coming out in Crossover Souls next weekend, somewhere around there. Barbar, Malambranch of the Burning Abyss. It's a level 3 Dark Fiend type effect, 1700 attack, 1000 defense. It shares the same stipulations as all other Burning Abyss monsters. You can special summon them from hand, and if you don't control Burning Abyss, they die. And its other effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 3 Burning Abyss cards in your graveyard, except Barbar, Malambranch of the Burning Abyss. Banish them, and if you do, inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each. I thought for a long time Burning Abyss should have had something that banished from graveyard to actually do something, because you have this whole plethora of Burning Abysses in your graveyard late game that absolutely do nothing, and unless you play beginning of the end, you're not really doing anything at all with them. Normally, you're bringing back a Dante with Seer, and you're not really bringing back those Burning Abyss from your graveyards. While you will do it a lot of the times, you still have a lot of just surplus Burning Abyss in your graveyard that you do nothing with. And looking at Barbar, the first and the only card that's going to be doing anything with those surplus Burning Abyss in your graveyard, I'm actually really satisfied with what it does. 900 up to 900 is actually quite a bit of damage. If we look at Gaga Cowboy, that card is actually really considered really good, and it only does 800. So while we can argue 800 and 900 isn't really a big amount, we can't argue that it's not relevant. Must I remind you guys that Ultimate Rare Gaga Cowboys kind of skyrocketed in price for a short time because Necros found a way to OTK with Gaga Cowboy. So 800 is kind of relevant, and 900 is just 100 damage more relevant. Drahig, Malambranch of the Burning Abyss. It's 1100 attack, 900 defense. Again, the same stipulation. It's a level 3. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can choose one Burning Abyss card from your deck and place it on the top of your deck. As opposed to all the other Burning Abyss being rares, this one's going to be a super rare. And I don't like this card as much as I thought I would. While this card is really interesting with the fact that you can place things that aren't just the Malambranches, you can place the spells and traps on top of your deck, stack Fire Lakes, or stack the new Fusion spell card, which I'll get to in a minute. I still feel this card is kind of... it clashes with everything else. This card is very difficult to use correctly on your turn because, let's face it, your end goal for the turn is always to end up with a Scarm Search somehow. And if you stack something on the top of your deck that you maybe want to draw, and you search during the end phase with the Scarm, it messes the whole thing up. And I don't think anytime soon you're just not going to be activating a Graph if you have the opportunity, or not activating that Scarm during the end phase if you have your opportunity, just to be able to keep whatever you stacked with your Drahig on the top of your deck. I just don't think that's optimal. However, it does have a lot of cool interactions on your opponent's turn if you're able to dump it with a Phoenix Wing Windblast, or a Karmika, or any other discard outlet. Being able to adjust the top of your deck to add another Malambranch to your hand, or the Fusion spell card, because the Fusion monster is actually quite relevant, I think that's really good. Granted, if you have a Scarm and a Drahig in your hand, Scarm's probably always going to take the priority for what you want to discard first, but I still think Drahig is a pretty cool option to be able to stack Graphs or Seers even to the top of your deck, or any spell or trap that you wish. The Terminus of the Burning Abyss. It's a normal spell card. You can fusion summon one Burning Abyss fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Burning Abyss monster on the field. It gains 800 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's a Burning Abyss fusion spell card, and it brings out the fusion monster, which I'll get to in, again, 1 minute. But just talking about the fusion spell card on its own, I wish it was better. I know we can't really be asking for too much. I mean, the Burning Abyss archetype has already gotten a lot of amazing support, but the Fusion spell card, I really expected more out of it. It's a stackable polymerization for the deck with Drahig, or if you want to dump it with Kagna, I guess you could do that too. And it has a graveyard effect where you're allowed to banish it and have something gain 800 attack. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, you can have Dante's go up to, what, 3300s, which is enough to get over towers, but, who plays Cliffworts anymore? There's not really anything to say except outside the fact that it is a stackable polymerization with that graveyard effect of 800. I don't know if that 800 is going to be super relevant, even though we just talked about Barbar. 800 burn damage is quite relevant, but 800 attack damage, I don't know if that is quite relevant. In this format we're in now, there's not really any massive monsters that you really need to get over. Towers was a problem a while ago, but now there's just like, there's nothing to really have to worry about. Well, I guess now if there is a big monster, you don't have to go into Acid Golem to get over it anymore. That's pretty cool, I guess. However, this Fusion spell card does come with a Fusion monster, and this Fusion monster's pretty dope. Dante, Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss. It's a level 9 light Fusion Fairy type effect. 2800 attack, 2500 defense, requires 3 Burning Abyss monsters with different names, must be fusion summoned, and cannot be special summoned by other ways, cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can send 1 Burning Abyss monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw a card. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. Dante be looking like he's ready to drop the most fire mixtape of 2015. Hotter than the 7th Circle of Hell. I do think this card is actually really good and really interesting. Beside the fact that you have a really mediocre kind of polymerization for the deck, it does bring out this behemoth, and this card's actually really cool. A 28 body that can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects is already really awesome, but for the rest of this thing that this card does, as simplistic as it is, it's actually very powerful. Discarding a card on either player's turn to draw a free card is actually really cool. So even while you're not already losing advantage by summoning this card, which also notably you can use Dante's on board and everything as well to be able to summon this thing, you're able to constantly get more advantage by just discarding to draw. Then you know you'll draw, and whatever you discarded got its effect and everything, so you're just going to keep gaining advantage slowly. But even on top of that, if they manage to get rid of this card, you just get to pick a random card out of your opponent's hand and just discard it. We already see how good picking things out of your opponent's hand with cards like Mind Crush right now is, and being able to do it for free when they remove this behemoth is pretty cool. Something kind of depressing is that it can only be special summoned by fusion summons, so Seer can't get this thing back. That's kind of sad. I think they did that with Malakota too. I don't really know if that's the reason these cards aren't being played, but I definitely see Dante Pilgrim being played. I don't know, something just tells me that a 28 body that you can pretty much summon for free if you consider all the pluses you're getting off of your Burning Abyss cards that can't be targeted by effects, it sounds too good to not be played. Overall, Burning Abyss didn't kind of come out with the big bang that people expected. I do like this support a lot though. I absolutely do think it will see some sort of competitive play in the form of Dante Pilgrim and the fusion spell card. Maybe Barbar. I think Barbar will also see play. But while a lot of people are saying they're glad Burning Abyss is done, I wish it had more support. But still, I'm actually quite satisfied with the support, and I'm ready to see what it will do. ARG stands for whatever you want it to be. ARG is but an acronym for many things that I cannot describe. I'm really just running out of ideas. But I can tell you what it does stand for. It stands for Ultra Reality Games. If you guys want to buy or sell product, if you want to attend high-level events, and if you want to read articles from the toppest of top players, ultrarealitygames.com is your place to go check out. Be sure to like our Facebook fan page and subscribe to our Twitch stream if you haven't already. But as always, I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Gage from ARG, signing out. But